Namaskaram, the South Indian is here, and like I always say, one of the biggest festivals of India are the elections. It's the elections which brings people together, which of course where parties fight also, but ultimately everybody goes home smiling, laughing, because that is the vibrancy of our fantastic, fabulous democracy. It's just 48 hours to the ending of the suspense in Telangana. I shall not call out the elections. I never do that. But of course, quote the poll of polls about which we spoke all along on this platform, and also specifically focusing on Telangana. There it is, the projections according to Pollstrat. BJP is 5 to 10 plus, INC 49 to 59, BRS 48 to 58, others 6 to 8. According to Jan Ki Baat, BJP 5, 63 for the Congress, 44 for the BRS, AIMIM 5, others is 2. According to Matriz is 4 to 9 for the Bharatiya Janata Party, the Congress Party between 58 to 68, the BRS 46 to 56. AIMIM is kind of, there is a pendulum between 5 to 7. According to CNX, it's 2 to 4 for the BJP, INC 63 to 79, 31 to 47 for the Bharat Rashtra Samiti, 5 to 7 for the AIMIM. And today's Chanakya, it's BJP 7, 71 for the INC. I think the largest number so far, no, but CNX is also said between 63 to 79. Meanwhile, today's Chanakya, let's focus on that. It gives BRS 33 for the AIMIM. It's drawn a knot as of now, and others are 8. So if you look at it, net, they have given more numbers to the Indian National Congress as against the Bharat Rashtra Samiti led by Chief Minister KCR, K. Chandrasekhar Rao. So ladies and gentlemen, if this is the scenario, and if this remains a constant on Sunday, then the question that needs to be raised is, how did the Congress gear up for the Telangana elections? How did a party which was nowhere on the horizon a year ago give the BRS a run for its money? And this is going strictly by the poll of polls. But before we delve into the reasons for the Congress's resurrection, here are some of the voices on the exit poll.
I don't understand what kind of illogical exit poll this is when people are still queued up. People are still voting. What kind of a stupid exit poll is that, where people are all continuing to vote, and now you come out with this and publish it. In a way, indirectly, I can accuse you also of being hand in glove with my opposition, but I'll not go thus far. All I'm going to say is, it's ridiculous of Election Commission of India also, basically to allow for exit polls at 5:30 when people are queuing up to vote till 9. I think it's very ludicrous.
हर तरफ से अच्छा न्यूज़ आ रहा है और बहुत ही अच्छा न्यूज़ आ रहा है और ऑलमोस्ट हमारे हर असेंबली हल्के में सेलिब्रेशन भी हो रहा है ऑलरेडी. अनफॉर्चुनेटली फॉर देम सेलिब्रेशन उनका खाली जाएगा, हमारा तो अच्छे से आएगा, क्योंकि लास्ट टाइम भी यही उन्होंने कंफ्यूजन करने का कोशिश किया था, लेकिन अल्टीमेटली बीआरएस जीती है और इस बार भी बीआरएस ही जीतेगी.
जो सर्वे कुछ कम ज्यादा उसमें आ रहे हैं, लेकिन सभी ये बता रहे हैं कि कांग्रेस पार्टी 60 के आगे जाएगी, मेजॉरिटी आएंगी. लेकिन कुछ सर्वे ये भी कह रहे हैं कि अच्छी तरह पोजीशन में कांग्रेस पार्टी आएगी. हमारा पहले से ही कहना है कि हम 70 प्लस तेलंगाना में जाएंगे.
लेकिन जो एग्जिट पोल के आंकड़े आ रहे हैं, क्या नतीजे भी वैसे ही होंगे?
बिल्कुल, नतीजे 100%. 70 प्लस तो हमने पहले से, क्योंकि हर कॉन्स्टिट्यूंसी के अंदर क्या स्थिति है इसका जायजा हमने लिया है, बार बार चर्चा हुई है, वहाँ की स्थितियों के बारे में चर्चा हुई है, और हमने बड़ी अच्छी तरीके से कैंपेन भी चलाया है, सीट के बारे में भी बड़ी अच्छी तरीके से चयन किया है, और हमें पूरा भरोसा है.
These are only indications, ladies and gents. These numbers that we saw a little while ago, that is poll of polls, these are just numbers, these are just indications. But then, going by this indication, it's time now to dive deep into the reasons for Congress's resurgence in Telangana. But before that, I'm going to introduce you. That is what we are talking about. If we can show the viewers what we are speaking about, the Congress's, this is the first reason. But before that, let us say hello to the guest. Without the guest, my show isn't complete. First, let's take this off and let me now introduce the guest to you. There you are, Mr. K.S. Prasad. I mean, I don't even need the teleprompter right now. Senior journalist Sai Shekhar, senior journalist and a political analyst, and Roydin Roach, also someone who is a very well-known journalist. But before that, let me say that he's also someone who supports the Congress, and Kingshuk Nag, who is author as well as a very well-known veteran journalist. All of them are joining us. So the first reason, as it were, ladies and gentlemen, and I need to look at that camera so that you can look at what we are projecting. The first reason for the so-called resurgence, I'm saying so-called because tomorrow I shouldn't have egg on my face and I don't have to eat crow. The first reason for it is, of course, the Karnataka factor. If we can have it on the wall right now, the Karnataka factor, the Congress's win in neighboring Karnataka in May of 2023, and there are different reasons. This will keep changing, as you see. The myth, which was exploded, that the Congress has been decimated in the country, so no way can it make a comeback. The 5 guarantees promised and delivered by the Congress in Karnataka, the Karnataka factor, we are focusing on it. The managing of Siddaramaiah, DK's differences, there were lots of differences between the two, and the way the Congress managed it, and the appointment of an OBC chief minister, Siddaramaiah, that is one of the crucial points. So this will stay, and of course now the guests will come on, but the first is the reason for the resurgence of the Congress could as well be that the Karnataka factor. Let me just go to Mr. Prasad first. Mr. Prasad, do you think that if these numbers indicate anything, do you think that the Karnataka factor does have, in the overall strategy of the Congress, did it have a major impact on Telangana Congress and overall, opinion in Telangana?
Good evening, ma'am, and good evening to the co-panelists. It's very clear, ma'am, as far as the Telangana people's voice right now, as far as this election is concerned, they are not asking, they are just asking for a change. And the anti-incumbency is not adding to that. Change is nothing but there are certain consistencies where people are not being accepted by the people around. Just like some MLAs, like 45 to 50 people who have been given B forms from BRS, is not been accepted by the Telangana people. So the 50 people's negativity is leading to the party where Congress is enhanced it themselves for the sake of elections and all. So this is not at all the people's verdict towards the Congress government and all. When it really matters to the forming of Congress government is something different, where Karnataka is anti-incumbency and the 40% corruption and other things are concerned. But if you really look into it, the 45% average consistently maintained by BRS as far as these elections are concerned. But the polling itself is an indicator. When it compared to last time, it is 74 almost, and to this time it is 70.63. The 3 to 4% lesser polling is also an indication that there is no such anti-incumbency on the government, where Congress all of a sudden they themselves emerged from 3rd place to 2nd place, which is not at all on the race before 20 to 25 days as far as the elections are concerned.
All right.
Today's emerging themselves to forming a government, always since 2014 itself, 14 and 2018, they have never even crossed 22 seats. All of a sudden, how can they get more than 50 plus seats to forming of a government? In the erroneous circumstances, even if they get 59 also, governor will not call him as a single largest
party.
No,
that is running with it, running away with it. No, Mr. Prasad, I'm going to go issue by issue. So you do think that the Karnataka factor has had an impact. Let us go the different, whether, and I'm making it very clear, this is not the gospel truth. None of the exit polls is ever the gospel truth. That's why I played out the bite of KTR Garu, also Thackeray, all of them right in the beginning. It shouldn't look as if I'm calling out the elections. Sai Shekhar, but as journalist, as political analyst, do you think that the Karnataka factor, the reasons I gave, the 5 guarantees, an OBC as a chief minister, the fighting between DKS and Siddaramaiah, putting a lid on it, also, every factor. Do you think it has had a domino effect in Telangana or not?
No.
Wow.
I said no. But there may be a general sense of fatigue, political fatigue, about a government that has been there in the state for 10 years. But then I don't think their 5 guarantees and other things are making any impact. And Karnataka has failed in implementing all those 5 guarantees. And I am not making a statement. We have done a field study and understood that Karnataka is unable to implement that free bus ride to women. Because of that, they have enhanced the price of tickets by 20% for men. This is what, like robbing Peter to pay Paul. And for implementing 200 units free power, Grah Jyoti, or whatever, Griha Lakshmi, I don't know their names, nomenclature, but 200 units of electricity free to a certain category of people. The average price rise for other electricity users is 70 paise per unit. And they are unable to implement this Annabhagya scheme, which is, instead of Annabhagya, because they don't have Food Corporation of India allotment and they don't have rice to give, they are giving money. And Yuva Shakti program has not yet started, and they have advertised, in the Telangana newspaper, Hyderabad newspapers about Karnataka schemes. And for Yuva Shakti scheme, they put 2 professional models and they were called out. So, and 5 guarantees, most of them are Raitu. For example, you take Raitu Bharosa. That is a copycat of Raitu Bandhu, which is the first innovative scheme that is implemented by KCR. So that is not that.
Yeah, you have a good...
Exit poll, listen, Sudha. These exit polls may have given that indication because of the general fatigue against a political party that is power for 10 years.
Yeah, but then fatigue is also a very kind of esoteric thing. What is fatigue?
Correct.
I mean, I do not, I want to believe in data. I want to believe in clear perception. To say, oh, there is fatigue, boredom, all this is it really, I don't believe in it personally as a journalist. One has to dig deep to figure out what happened. Mr. Nag, do you think that the Karnataka factor, the winds were blowing from neighboring Karnataka into Telangana, and one of the reasons for the Congress's resurgence could very well be the Karnataka impact, as it were?
At an overall level, yes. When the Congress did well in Karnataka, it was felt that in neighboring Andhra Pradesh also, in neighboring Telangana also it can do well. But that's not the real reason. The real reason is there are a lot of fatigue against this government, 10 years of Raj by KCR, and people want a change, and therefore the change is here. Now, what do you do in a change? In a change, you vote for another party. Here, the other party available is Congress and not the BJP. So, Congress is getting all the votes. That is the real reason. Fatigue of voters against the existing setup and going for a change. Now, they can't vote for the BJP because it does not exist here. So, they will vote for Congress only. That's how Congress is winning.
Again, Mr. Nag says it's fatigue, they want a change. But it's more than that. I think there has to be some empirical reasons, I feel, and that's why I've listed it. And I'm happy that my guests, particularly Sai Shekhar, will just explode whatever I say and say you're wrong, Sudha. And that is what is good about a healthy debate in any kind of a format. Roydeen, I want to come to you, and not as a supporter of the Congress, because Sai is also not going to speak. When I tell him, he wears the, the hat of a journalist that he is, and very well known and very, very clued into both Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Roydeen, I'm asking you, the Karnataka factor, isn't that something which has had an impact on the resurgence of the Congress in Telangana? 1 year ago, we didn't even, no one bothered. It was just the BRS, it was pink everywhere.
Well, good evening, sir, and good evening to all my co-panelists and viewers. See, when we talk about the Karnataka factor, I don't think Karnataka factors anything to do. Maybe about 20% of Karnataka factor, the shadow of it must have fallen over here. But the real fact is the issues that we are having here. When we talk, for example, you talk about the Dalit Bandhu people, hardly 2 or 3% people have received it. So you're telling me what's going to happen when just 2 to 3% of the people receive it. The rest of the 98% or 96% of the people who haven't received it is going to go against the government. So you look at the number of voters over there. What we are looking at Dalit Bandhu, the Dalits. So that is one major impact you can see. Then the other schemes also which have been taken. Recently we had the schemes also which were given about ₹1,00,000 or something for it. And the time duration for that was very short, that people were unable to even get the documentation done. Because when you have to apply for an income certificate itself, the income certificate itself takes about 15 days. And you are given hardly about 6 to 7 days.
But that could be common for any,
scheme.
no, Roydeen, but that could be common for anything. It is not only the schemes introduced by the BRS. The problem is in the system. We are a large country. To govern it, it's a nightmare.
No, see,
so it is.
No. See, if you have to see, I'll tell you very frankly. If you think you want to implement a system and really want to make it happen, you have to do your homework before that.
All right, that's
just
a good
not
point.
Come out of the blue.
Yeah,
and
that's a very yeah,
because
that's a very good point to make, that you have to do your homework. You have to make it kind of idiot proof so that everyone can actually, it's easy on you. For instance, I find certain things very tough, and I don't go to platforms which make it tough for me. So you're absolutely right. But Karnataka did have an impact, is what you're saying. Right? And you have to unmute.
A lot of schemes. Okay, we are talking of the bus. I think what Tajaka said. Bus is already implemented, and people are traveling. So I don't know from where did they get this news. So let us not talk on the way of talking of we are on the. Let's talk reality and not try to support a party just for the sake of supporting.
And let me apart. Yeah, sure. I've heard all of you, but let me tell you, if the Karnataka factor did not have an impact, we will not have the entire cabinet sitting in Telangana. Actually, the election commission also kind of rapped them on their knuckles and said, why is it that your ads are there in Telangana newspaper? From Siddaramaiah to DKS, you talk about anyone, they were all there, like pretty much, and why not? I mean, it's like, for the BJP, Yogi Adityanath was in Hyderabad, so why not? So the Karnataka factor is one thing which cannot be kind of, I believe, you cannot say, yes, not 100%, 80%, 70%, but there has been an impact. Let's go to the second issue. For any party to grow, those at the helm have to have the X factor, something about it, and many layers of it actually. How do you lead? How do you kind of stem the revolt? When 54-year-old Revanth Reddy took over from Uttam Reddy in 2021, there was a general cynicism, because that man had migrated to the Congress from the Telugu Desam party. So they said maybe he really can't. There were also lots of reports that he is one man who cannot really control the cadre, the people in the Congress party, because, and those are, I'm going to put up the graphics about the maturing of Revanth Reddy. I think it's a very important thing, the maturing of Revanth Reddy. He joined the Congress from the TDP in 2017. That's leaders like former AICC spokesperson, Dosuju Shravan, Ponnala Lakshmaya, I spoke to him. They found him very unresponsive. All of them are allegations. I'm saying you never know. Tomorrow they may just hug each other and say we are friends. Apparently failed to stem the revolt in the party. Everyone spoke out of turn. There was no system. Much like what the BJP would tell, your Congress party is like this. There is no protocol. There is absolutely no discipline. But Revanth Reddy matured. He matured. His maturity was there for people to see. Now also, if you compare him with BJP's erstwhile Bandi Sanjay, the head, BRS's KTR, Revanth Reddy was viewed as ineffectual. I mean, he did not have what is called the X factor to kind of rein in his cadre. So the maturing of Revanth Reddy. Now in October 2023, Revanth geared up and decided to take the challenge, the plunge to face the election. So second factor, in case if the Congress is going to win from Telangana, going by the polls, that's what they say. But if this is true, then the maturing of Revanth Reddy. Mr. Prasad, you think that the maturing of Revanth Reddy, do you agree with the fact that who he was and who he became, there was a lot of difference, because the man actually suddenly politically grew up? Mr. Prasad, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes ma'am.
The maturing of Revanth Reddy, do you agree that the man grew up politically?
So he's being growing as far as his individual, he's growing individually, but he's as a collective responsibility. He has never taken responsibility as far as TDP is concerned. He just always focused on his own agony and he's surviving for his own sake. And that is what his success is. By the time he stepped into Congress shows, if you really look into it to him, the battle of Congress with no deposits. And all of a sudden, with the consideration by the BRS party, as far as 45 people, absolutely they are losing the battle. Those people have been given B forms. And that where Revanth Reddy all of a sudden emerged himself as a leader and he's showing a path to Congress. As a Telangana person, I will not accept his leadership that he's making a good success to Congress. And with this, he's going to form the government and all. Practically, as a Telangana battle is going on, that time he is with the gun and all, the Karimnagar procession, how he has taken to the TDP and all. With that, there is no acceptance. Even after in the Malkajgiri constituency, he has won the battle because the consideration by the settlers and because of the Telugudesam momentum was paired up. That's why he has given an opportunity as an MP. But where it Congress, just like Munugodu and Huzurabad of Eagle Rajendra, absolutely zero performance by the Congress. Because of the legendary character of Jana Reddy Garu, he has survived in Nagarjun Sagar by getting 70,000 votes. But as an impact, as a leader to Congress, never even got a deposit. That's what the success story of
so according to you, there is no resurgence of the Congress, is what you're saying, Mr. Prasad, and particularly of Revanth Reddy. So you don't feel that the Congress, according even the polls of polls, whatever they are indicating, giving more seats to Congress, is in any way even plausible?
It is. That's what I'm saying, na. I failed my this thing, and somebody has been emerged as a who got 35 marks, who's been passed, and he's been the college first, just like that. The Revanth Reddy's performance as far as the 45 constituencies are concerned in Telangana.
What do you think, Sai Shekhar? Do you think the maturing of Revanth Reddy is something that we have to look at? Because no party can, other than that, you can't possibly be remote controlling a party from Delhi.
You have made two contradictory statements. That only Delhi alone controls the party of the Congress, and so forget about that. I don't want to comment on that. With regard to Revanth Reddy, yeah, he has evolved. There is no doubt about it. He was very irresponsible, making filthy statements and using foul language. He actually doesn't have control over his tongue. He recently, during the election hearing, he used the foulest word, filthiest word possible against the chief minister. I don't know why the election commission was complacent about it, but it was, the videos are available. He's very irresponsible in tongue lashing. But at the same time, I would say he evolved because he's a rabble rouser. He's able to get the flock together, not exactly the leaders, but the cadres, and arouse their feelings against the BRS, provoke them. And also recently I watched an interview he has given to CNN News 18, one of my colleagues. And there, it was a half-an-hour interview, and there he demonstrated whatever he learnt over the few years, last 2-3 years. I definitely won't certify his stint in Telugudesam, last 2-3 years, and he seemed very evolved and he was a bit matured.
That is right.
Surely, if at all, I don't think these guys, the exit polls are true, and they are actually, counting the chicks before they are hatched. But then, if at all Congress makes it, I think Revanth Reddy should be given the chief minister's post.
Oh, that's very well said, like a seasoned journalist as always, because I also saw his evolution. One remembers the kind of allegations which were on them. I will not say charges, but allegations one has seen, about how he, and from where to where. Mr. Nag, would you agree that there is, he has evolved, he has matured, he has become more staid, as it were, Revanth Reddy?
Yeah, he has. But the fact is that All India Party, Congress is an All India Party. The credit should go to Rahul Gandhi, and the credit should go to the Congress president, who's from neighboring Bellary. So they are more responsible, and they, of course, it is they who kept this gentleman involved. So he is not going out of the way. Now, some of the things that she said, which Sai Sekhar said, was very dirty and all that. But that's in the nature of Indian politics. You have to go down to their level. Otherwise, you can't take them on. So, for the first time, you don't have a gentleman president of Congress, which is a great advantage to them. Earlier, you had presidents of Congress who were in the state level who were gentlemen.
Right.
So the fact that he has come down to the level of the other parties.
So Mr. Nag, here again I'm going
to
Mr. Nag, I'm going to bring about Karnataka comparison again, much like they put a lid on the Siddaramaiah DK's feud, which of course keeps coming up even now. Let's not deny it. It's there, very much there. So do you think that Mr. Kharge was able to kind of, rein him in a way, talk to him and say that this is the way forward and not the way that you are perceived to be, which is kind of rather insolent, etc., etc.
I don't know what he talked to him, but the fact is that the fact that he was here, the Congress president was here, and he's from neighboring Bellary, has also helped. Helped the Congress for the first time has a leadership in the state.
Right. Roydin, what do you think?
That's the fact. And you have to, you can't take away the credit from Rahul Gandhi.
All right.
It's the All India party.
Yeah, he says do not take the credit from Rahul Gandhi. Sure, also Mr. Kharge, Roydin Roach, the evolution of, Revant Reddy, amongst other things, was he able to stem the constant bickering and internecine war which took place in the Congress?
Well, see, Revant Reddy, what he was in the Telugu Desam party is a complete changed person. He's completely the other side of the coin at the moment. He has changed, he's brought himself up to an extent that, that he can lead the party, he can take the party to the extent we have seen what's happening now. Yes, see, at times you have to take hard steps where people didn't like it. Like even Dasu Samal, he also didn't like it for whatever reasons. That's his personal view. But when it comes to Punalakshmi, it is time that the people, senior people, have to, leave the seat and give to the youngsters. They should sit back, sit in the advisor's chair, take a political post or position and develop the party, not run away from the party. The people who spoke the most filth about the chief minister, the same person goes and shakes hands with him the next day and hugs him. So, that's not politics. That's not politics. That's, it's your personal agenda.
Well,
that's what you have to look at. People
politics.
are very personal.
It's not life. We don't behave like that.
Revant Reddy is a complete changed person.
All right. So you say it's a okay. So I have now. Let me go to the third point. The third factor is very important, and in the context of how welfare politics has become the accepted norm in the country. Now, much before the so-called Labharti argument that the North Indians give, the South always had it, and starting way back in the 60s. And in Tamil Nadu, if you talk about it, it started way back. So let's now focus on the 6 guarantees of the Congress party. Listen to what Sonia Gandhi as well as Mallikarjun Kharge said on the Congress guarantees. But first up, if you look at it, these are the 6 guarantees. Mahalakshmi, 2,500 per month financial assistance for women. Those are the 6 guarantees. Gas cylinders at 500 rupees. Free travel in state transport buses across the state, that is Mahalakshmi. Raitu Bharosa, annual financial assistance of 15,000 for farmers. Then 12,000 per year to agriculture labour, that is Raitu Bharosa. Bonus of 500 rupees per quintal for paddy above MSP. Also land and 5 lakhs for construction of house for homeless poor, that is Indra Mindlu. 250 square yard plot for families of martyrs in the state, so on and so forth. And this Griha Jyoti is very important, 200 units of free electricity to every poor household. Also health insurance, which is Cheyuta, a cover up of rupees 10 lakhs and also 4,000 pension to the poor, much in competition with Asara pension. Yuva Vikasam, 5 lakhs for students from poor backgrounds for higher education. So these were the 6 guarantees, and let's now deep dive. But before that, let's listen into what Sonia Gandhi and Kharge said about the Congress's guarantees.
To fulfill the aspirations of the people of Telangana, of my brothers and sisters of Telangana, we are announcing 6 guarantees, Mahalakshmi being the first one, and we are committed to fulfilling them each to fulfill each one of them. I, along with my colleagues, had the opportunity to be a part of the birth of this great state, Telangana. Now it is our duty to elevate it to new heights. It has been my dream to see the Congress government in Telangana that will work for all sections of our society.
6 गारंटी आपको दे रहे हैं। जैसा कर्नाटक में हम 5 गारंटी देकर और वहां के जनता को आज 5 गारंटी का जो डेट दिए थे, आज वो इम्प्लीमेंट हो रहा है। चंद लोग बोलते हैं, अरे जाके देखो कर्नाटक वाले इतना दिए, क्या मिला? अरे सब मिल रहा है, आप झूठ क्यों बोलते हो?
So let's talk about competitive welfareism, as it were. Mr. Nag, 5 guarantees in Karnataka, 6 guarantees here, 7 guarantees in Rajasthan. The resurgence of the Congress, you think that the guarantees have worked on the electorate would work on the electorate to some extent, Mr. Kingchuk Nag?
Will work, but this is not the major fact why Congress will win. The major fact is that TRSs will lose and the BJP is not there. So therefore, if there is no TRS, then whom do I vote for? I will vote for Congress only. And then the Congress give guarantees. And they have a local leadership which is also more working. And then you have a national leadership also which seems to be working. So therefore, people will vote for the Congress. And that is the real reason. Rahul Gandhi is there, Dharamaiah is there, and Revanth are ready to support them.
Right, but
and the fact is that BJP is not there. Please understand that this is not a South Indian party, BJP. It is time for BJP to start thinking why it cannot make this entry into South India. That is the major reason. It's not the Congress is winning. It's not that the TRS is losing. TRS has to lose. How many years can they run the show? So the alternative is the Congress, and that is something we will worry the BJP. That is the real story.
No, but
the real story is not what they won.
No, but
why
I think
Congress is won? This is the reason.
But the reason, the thing is that
and
the Congress is rising. It's simplifying it too much. With due respect to you, Mr. Nag, that they are rising. They are rising only because there is a Tina factor. Yes, that could be one of the reasons. But I cannot just simplify it to such an extent to say, oh, there is no alternative, because I think the Indian electorate is way too intelligent also. Sai Shekhar, do you think that the 6 guarantees was, because see, KCR is a welfare Raja, if you look at him. I've always said it, Raitu Bharosa, Raitu Bandhu, Shadi Mubarak, all kinds of, Asara pension, everything. Then why is it that if I keep saying this, much like you, if these 6 guarantees have worked, why do you think they have worked? Is it because there is, like Roydeen says, maybe a hidden promise of them being delivered for sure, because it's a new, it's a party which is promising them, it's not the old known evil. You have to work on psychology as well.
Congress cannot implement any of these guarantees. They have miserably failed in Karnataka, and people are not enamored of these 6 guarantees that they have promised in Telangana, because at least 4 of them are copycat versions, and which have been there for ages and centuries. And there is nothing, there is no innovation in that. And you are calling KCR a welfare Raja. Maybe he has taken care of welfare, but there has been market development. Nobody can deny the construction of Kaleshwaram project, which was, the land was brown in Telangana, that was converted into green. And entire, the technological advancement, several companies.
All right, I have to quickly,
Foxconn investment and all. See, it's all completely, the BRS has taken Telangana to a new paradigm. There is
all right, I have one other issue coming, so I'm hurrying all my friends up here. I'm sorry, my apologies. Roydeen, quickly, do you think that the 6 guarantees is one of the reasons for the resurgence of the Congress, if people are bent towards the Congress more?
Yes, the 6 guarantees are one of the reasons. I won't say it's completely
No, it
there.
cannot be
It
the
is one of the
only
reasons why
one of
people have.
the, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, it's one of the reasons. It's one of the people see. First thing is people were tired of the BRS party. Because when the BRS party, the only decision maker was the chief minister. The ministers all were dummies. You know, in Telugu they were saying Gangireddu. I don't know if you heard about it. You know, the bull only nods his head, and that's what the ministers all were there in the cabinet for. So there was nobody there to take even. I know very well that ministers want to do things, but they were stopped from doing it. So, you know, it is what the chief minister wants to do. He's an engineer, he's an architect, he's a mechanical, or whatnot, so and so. But you can't be like that. You have a person, the minister there, he has to do his duty. When you get involved in it, being a chief minister, you should know how to guide your people also. He lacked in that. And the reason why, that's the main reason why it was not able to be delivered to the people. Okay, let us talk about Raitu Bandhu.
We'll talk about, but I have another issue which is very important. It is the movement of the Muslims in, if the poll of polls, what they are talking about is important. And on your screens right now, Muslim population in Telangana, if you see, the Muslim population is 13 to 14% is a Muslim population. And you know, they hold 40 seats in 40 assemblies, and it's very, very important. I mean, there is a perception also about the Muslims. Have the Muslims moved? You know, there are 10% Muslim voters in 60 constituencies, but the main graphics that I don't see here is about the Muslims movement. You know, have the Muslim moved? And that is what there, the movement of Muslims, that is very important. And this is what we are going to discuss with our guests, considering we are running out of time. But let me also add, if there is one party which has been the flag waver for the minorities, it is of course obvious is AIMIM, which has a truck with the BRS. But then if the poll of poll numbers are any indication, then one needs to take a look at, have the Muslims moved towards the Congress party? Mr. King Shuknag, first you, sir, because you know, do you think that the Muslims may have moved again, because there is no BJP is nowhere there, and anyway no Muslim will vote for the BJP. But sir, you have to unmute yourself, sir. Mr. Nag.
How I got muted?
Yeah,
no,
now you are
unmuted.
Yeah, you are unmuted, sir. So I am asking you, the movement of Muslims, do you think that is one important factor in the resurgence of the Congress party, Mr. King Shuknag? Unmute, sir. Let me come back to him. Sai Shekhar, do you think that the movement of Muslims, I'll go to Mr. Nag in a bit, let him unmute, and then to Roydeen. Roydeen, I see you raising your hand. Sai Shekhar, movement of Muslims, if you have to do a kind of an analysis, do you think the Muslims may have moved? The Muslims moved when it came to Karnataka, and it is because of a factor that I'm going to talk about. But then you tell me, do you think that is plausible that the Muslim population has moved? Because let's also understand, apparently the Muslims, AIMIM has only a hold in the Twin Cities. The rest of it, Adilabad, Nizamabad, they don't. They think differently. So, do you think the Muslims may have moved to the Congress?
There is a divide in this, actually. There is a divide in this. Because Muslim minorities have been sailing with KCR, maybe because of his proximity to AIMIM. And AIMIM does not control the entire Muslim flock in Telangana in that sense. Number one. Number two, Muslims are actually, grateful to KCR because of the welfare schemes that is implementing, the pensions, Shadi Mubarak and other things. And, the second factor that must have pulled some Muslims towards the Congress is that it's the BJP versus any other party. And in the national context, Muslims prefer the Congress to any other political party when it comes to opposing the BJP.
All right.
Perhaps if it is that reason, Muslims may have moved, but I am not very sure.
Yeah,
unless
but
the complete
it could also be because the way Mr. Modi said कि मैं NDA में बुलाया वो नहीं आए, of saying that BJP and BRS are the same sides of, two sides of the same coin. Mr. Nag is back with us. Mr. Nag, do you think that the Muslims have moved? Is there a movement of Muslims in Telangana, sir? He's again gone.
Because now the Muslims see that TRS and AIR are in league with the Congress. I'm not saying that's the truth, but that's their perception. And this change in perception has taken place, and therefore the Muslims are not going to vote for AIM and Telangana Rashtra Samiti. And that is a major reason, I think, of the win, if the potential win of the Congress.
All right. What do you
because
think, Roydeen?
Asaduddin Owaisi is now seen to be in league with TRS, which is in league with the BJP.
That's
and that
right.
is what the Muslims are hurt about.
That's right. Much in
This I think is going to
Karnataka,
happen.
when they moved away from the JDS, they knew that he may shake hands with the BJP, which happened. You know, H.D. Kumaraswamy shook hands with Yediyurappa. So the Muslims started moving towards the Congress party. Something may have happened. And the reason for the resurgence of the Congress and the movement of the Muslims towards Congress. Quickly, Roydeen, if you can just, quickly, because I've completely run out of time. My apologies.
Let me tell you, Sudha, it's not only the Muslims, it's the Christian minority also.
Okay.
In this election, you know, Christian minority has moved and the Muslim. And I don't know why. See, the reason why we don't have the exact figures is because, see, the total Christian population in Telangana is almost about 85 to 90 lakhs. And even the voters also are there. In the Christian population, you have about 50 lakh plus voters. So, you know, the entire Muslim population and the Christian population is this time, because we, as per the voting list, what we checked, even the backdrop, what we have checked now from all the booths coming in, it is mostly the minorities have gone and voted. The minorities have played a major role. The Muslim minorities have turned against the BRS completely, as well as the Christians. You know, the Christians have moved.
But then what about AIMIM? AIMIM, which has a truck with BRS.
See, the reason is because, see, BRS and BJP are the same. And that's why I say the BJP, the MIM and the BRS is a triangle. You know, all the three corners of the triangle there. So they are the same block. I've told you before also, in Maharashtra what the MIM has done, in Bihar. It will be in Kolkata, West Bengal, and many states. You know, we have seen what damage they have done to the parties, especially wherever there's a Congress candidate. For example, even you've seen what happened in Jubilee's constituency, where Azharuddin, their own minority person was there who's contesting, and you again try and put in your candidate, and at last what happened? Their booths were closed by 11 o'clock. The booth volunteers have moved out. They were shut because why? The people over there also realized they started voting for the Congress candidate, the Muslims. So, you know, the Muslim brothers have come out, they have come to realize now what is happening and what is MIM playing around with. So people are coming, you know, day by day people are becoming aware of each party, what is happening because of social media especially, and the media itself. So there's a big impact on the minorities.
But
so we can't say that...
So this was, you know, these were a couple of reasons that one had the time for to analyze why the Congress, if we go by the poll numbers, that the Congress is surging ahead, the rise of the Congress, the resurgence of the Congress, the resurrection of the Congress, as it were. But then it's going to be Super Sunday when we shall get to know the real story, and once again we shall be analyzing what went wrong and what really worked for every party. Thanks so much to my guests, Mr. Prasad, Mr. Nag, Sai, thank you very much, and also to Roydeen. It was such a pleasure having all of you on the show. Thank you indeed. And with that, the South Indian says bye-bye. And like I said, Sunday is a very big day. This is your destination where we shall decode every story for you and tell you why a party won and why a party lost its mojo. Until then, vanakkam.